Testing 1, 2, testing. This meeting is being recorded.
Judith just sent an email about the checks being ready,
Okay.
so I grabbed them up. For how we're thinking, I figured we might have time, so
Yeah.
we won't be, doing much.
It's gonna be a quick meeting, huh?
Well, luckily, there's no decision points, but. Yeah. Donuts. Donuts. What are the little fried crisps?
They're buñuelos.
They're what?
Flour tortillas with cinnamon sugar.
Killing me, Raquel.
I'm sorry, Rachel.
I also have no willpower.
Sorry, I saw those and I hadn't had them in a long time, and I was like, I'll take these two. I already had 3. And I wanted some coffee with them, so I might do that later for the next meeting.
I'm gonna make a rise right now. I saw that, I'm like,
It's so good.
This is a regional Winchell's option. It's not it can't be a corporate option.
Right?
Because I don't see Winchell's in Nebraska.
No, never. No. Agreed.
I was trying to think of a state that didn't have a large Latino population.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if there is one anymore.
I don't know. I found out that you
Because
said
there's
that.
so many areas where they're
Very true.
meat processing and things where migrant labor becomes so important. and
Absolutely.
They should burn those fucking states down. Protest everywhere.
Busy week.
Hey there.
Hey there.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Ooh, good. Had a very busy week. Very good week. Very busy week. Hello there.
Howdy.
Hi. Well, is Alex coming today? Or
He
did Alex
is.
come to some? Okay. I
Mhm.
was wondering. Oh. Are you having a tour?
Testing 1, 2, testing.
Right.
Somebody was really evil.
Oh. So good. So good. You were evil and
Your
bought what,
meeting is already
donuts?
being recorded. Yeah. Yes.
Rachel's eating all the donuts?
Yes.
It's hard to say no. I tell you what.
You can put the bracket on the door.
It's too small. Yeah, yeah, she's one of them, yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm gonna get one, yeah. Thank you. I realize I forgot to look like this. I don't think you've gotten to meet yet. I'm Teresa. Oh, Cindy. Cindy, nice to meet you. Yeah.
Hey, did you guys know Cindy's on the facilities committee?
Oh, I didn't know. I guess that's why you hear it fine. Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, look at your nails. Those are super cool. Thank you. What do you call that?
Sorry
You
about
had-
that.
Oh, uh-oh.
Jennifer was supposed to have a
Oh,
conversation
yeah.
with you about strategic planning. When strategic planning didn't happen, I figured she had done it fine with her. So, it probably would have caught you off.
Yeah, I was looking through my email and I was
Hello, Raquel.
Hello, Howard.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm well too.
Okay.
we missed you on
All
the
right.
walk.
I know.
Did you have a hard time finding it?
No,
Okay.
something came up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
it
many
happens.
showed up?
Oh, we had, it was around 20
And then we'll
people.
make sure to
Oh,
go.
that's good.
It was
Okay.
good. It was good, but
Kind of
I,
thought with the reminders, maybe you were worried that
So if you're an invite to a meeting.
people wouldn't show up. And I thought, oh, I didn't. show up.
no, you know what, like for our own program,
Right.
while we have time, we're calling to remind people and make sure and, you know.
All right.
We have the time, so, yeah, no, it was a good turnout, but I didn't realize where it was, and I actually had done that hike once before, so then once I got there, I kind of realized I had a hard time finding the trail. It's
It's north of
like
the
in.
winery, right?
Yeah, but maybe they didn't have the gate open when
Okay.
they'd already closed, I don't know, anyway, I came in from
Okay.
Montserrat.
Oh.
To the winery to find
You're
it,
in now.
but yeah.
And you did?
I was able to
By
find it,
doing that?
yeah, yeah, you can get through there,
Huh.
but I was like, oh, it was a little hard to find, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of people.
1 second, let's
Okay.
get this. Okay.
All right. Director Salmon,
Here.
Director Acosta. Here. Thank you. We have no public comments.
No announcements? No?
No one else.
All right. So we're to item 3, discussion items. Ongoing completed projects at the Community Health and Wellness Center.
All right, these are pretty much all me, so this is mostly an update meeting. So site logic update, solar and EV charging are in use, at the wellness center. So that project is essentially complete. There is one small caveat until it can be signed off. There is an ADA walkway that leads over to the building B, the education building. Currently, that walkway leads to a dirt spot, which will be completed as part of the ADA sidewalks and ramps. Because that project isn't complete, it's holding up what's called truncated domes. Those are the yellow bumps that are in thresholds between walkways for those who are visually impaired. Until those are installed, that project can't be signed off. So while it is complete and functional, it's not technically completed until that piece is done. I'll update that when we get to point D. Okay. For site logic at this facility, we're supposed to have another solar canopy and 2 more EV charging in this parking lot. As a context reminder, we discovered that there was a boundary line discrepancy between the Med Plus Urgent Care building and this facility. And until we have resolution on that lot line adjustment, they can't do anything more on this project. So that's at a hold at this point.
Where are we on negotiations at this point?
Complicated. So we're still trying to work through some of the things. I did receive copies of the property taxes that SKIO has paid, so we can begin to identify our percentage of the property. SKIO had asked that we cover the legal bills. We received the bill, the first bill, apparently there will be 2, and it was over $6,000, which seems oversized for this project. So I'm cued Alex in to identify whether or not lawyer to lawyer, if there's some conversation that can be had there.
Yeah.
So that is still in a negotiation phase, and we'll just let that work itself out. We won't be able to bring anything back to the board probably until August for any resolution towards that. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. We'll jump to point B, which has to do with building A, room 2. So that's if you're at the property and you're looking at building A, which is the old church building in the fellowship hall. The old fellowship hall is A2. So A1 is the old church part, A2 is the second. We got really original in our naming. Keeps it easy. Encinitas Design Group is the architect that was selected to build out the demonstration kitchen. The challenge here is that we have to rework some of the electrical drawings. Those can't be reworked until the site logic project is finished, because we have to move some of the electrical panel, because the site logic project has not been signed off. We don't want to touch an ongoing project. So that's a little bit on hold. But Todd Coleman, who is the architect that we're working with, knows this. He is working on other items, and the project is just kind of on hold mode until we finish site logic.
And that's A, till we do A.
Until we do A.
Okay.
We can't do A until we do D.
Yeah.
It's like a word problem, right? So that is all still in stasis. Point C, which is the education building, which is the long metal building, right? Education rooms 3 and 6. So those are the rooms at the very back end of the building. So if you're facing where the welcome center is, if you went all the way to the left, that end, and room 6 is on the back side of it. So the point for those 2 rooms is we're having the interior wall removed and having a folding wall submitted. We're having the 2 interior restrooms and the 2 exterior restrooms updated to be ADA compliant. That project had been hitting a number of snags because it was running into the bidding problem. It wasn't a big enough project to get a big general contractor, and it was too small because it kept hitting that $25,000 cap. You all just voted for us to opt in to the UPCA, the Uniform Public Construction Contracting
Agency.
AA, yes. Because of that, it now allows us to go out to general contractors and say, provide us an estimate for this scope of work. So we're in that process right now. We reached out to one of the general contractors who had expressed an interest originally to provide me an estimate. We are generating a list of other general contractors and other providers in the community that we will also then ask to just provide us an estimate. So that is back on track, but you probably won't see an estimate for that until maybe the July facilities meeting, but more than likely August.
So because it's under 25,000,
Mm.
right? No,
No, we no longer have to bid anything at that $25,000 mark. So we now only have to do the formal bid with all of the complications that come with that at $220,000, which the expectation is definitely be under that amount for sure. Yeah. Does that clarify?
yes.
Yeah. I know the UPCA thing is new for you all, so for this committee, don't hesitate to ask what those limits are. I've got them memorized now because it gives us the flexibility to get those projects done that might have been $30,000, which in the construction world is nothing. And that will really allow some of these smaller projects to move forward.
Do we still have to use market?
Prevailing wage, yes. We have to use prevailing wage actually for all of our maintenance and construction contracts, which Judith is already starting to work on some of our current vendors. All of our others, we make it very clear they have to be registered with Department of Industrial Relations, have a DIR, and then they have to use prevailing wage. And so that eliminates some of the small, quote unquote, mom and pop style folks, unfortunately. But it does allow us to make sure that we have more access to others.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so then we'll go to D, the one that's holding up both A and B. So the ADA ramps and sidewalks, that was another one where we had put out an RFP and received no bids because it was too small a project. We've met with 3 now. You met with Chris?
I did.
We met with 3 concrete contractors. We walked them through the design, the engineering designs that were done for us by Karn Engineering to be able to put in a sidewalk and railing, ADA ramps. So in front of building A, you'll be on that upper level. You'll stay on that level, walk along the side of the building, and then be able to go down the ramp to building B. You will no longer be required to walk across a parking lot, which is much safer. It'll also put in an ADA ramp, so anyone who's on a walker or wheelchair won't have to worry about uneven ground or terrain. So that's one part of that. The other part is as you're looking from the parking lot down into that shade structure, that pavilion, the ramp that exists down there was probably put in by the church or their congregation. It does not meet ADA guidelines. So we are building another long sidewalk, return, and ramp that will allow anyone from the sidewalk to be able to access down to that pavilion.
Who enforces ADA?
County and state. Primarily county would come out for us, but if someone is filing a suit, they could file a suit with the county and then potentially to the state. State sets most of the construction rules. And because we're serving the community, we want to make sure that we can serve all. So those 2 pieces are important. The other part, part of our contract with SiteLogic was the lower main parking lot. So right outside of building A, in that upper area, there are 2 disability stalls that are not up to code. That was not part of the scope of work for SiteLogic. So we are having those redesigned as part of this ADA sidewalk. So there's 3 sections, if you will. There's that ADA parking in the front of building A. There's the sidewalk and ramp in front of A. And then there's the lower sidewalk and ramp that leads to the pavilion.
What is it? How do the ADA parking spaces differ from regular?
It has to do with size and if there is any threshold height. So for example, the way it's right now is you have to kind of step up about almost 3 inches from the parking lot to that sidewalk, or you have to go up this funky-ish ramp that was built there, and its grade is too steep. So if you are using a mobility device, walk or whatever, it's too steep and there's a good chance for immobility.
Yeah.
So the goal is to be able to make sure it's angled appropriately and that there's no weird threshold step from one level to the next.
Thanks.
So we, I had hoped to originally get some of those quotes for today's meeting. It was too much of a rush to the contractors. So you'll likely see that at the July meeting. The expectation is that that is gonna probably come in somewhere around $90,000 for that project, which is above my single signing authority at 75, but below our need to go to a full bid of 220. So what we'll do is we'll bring that to this committee, then it'll go to the board, they'll sign the contract after Alex has looked at it, of course, and then we can issue the job to whichever select. That makes sense from a process standpoint?
Yeah. I don't like the process, but it makes sense.
It would be great if we were a private entity where we could just be like, hey, I like your price, let's get it done tomorrow. However, you know, we're public, so it has a little bit more of a step to it.
Speaking of public,
Yes.
what's the status of the .gov?
You're so close.
Would you like to
I can
answer that
just-
one?
Touch it. gosh, what was it, a couple weeks ago? Went back and forth with the
Before we
state
do this,
agency.
So the background on this,
I
Is-
know.
you know this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a law that any municipal has to be a .ca, .gov, or a .gov. The district, going through what Judith has been going through, we would have to be a .ca, .gov. So, sorry, I want to make sure we had that.
No, that's totally fine. I know Howard and I have talked about it before, but
Yeah,
the .ca.gov has been a battle for 18 months. I'm sure you've been working on that kind of stuff yourself, but last week got a hold of a real life human being after I battled it through several agencies. And she was able to get us through last Friday to one of their committee meetings where they're finally deciding on whether or not they're going to give us one of the names that we had to file a domain request for. So they basically suggested we file two types of names. One is our acronym frhd.ca.gov. The other one's the fallbrookhealth.ca.gov. And they were supposed to decide and we haven't heard back yet, but I didn't want to push it. So I'm gonna give them a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But that is the closest we've gotten
Wow.
in this whole time. So I was really, really happy to hear all that.
Yeah, good for you.
because our formal name, our official name is Fallbrook Regional Health District.
Yeah.
Technically, they want you to have that be your name. Well, that's about the world's worst website name ever. So they gave us a secondary potential if we could be Fallbrook RHD, which again is not helpful. But FRHD, you can at least, it's short enough, you can figure it out. We would keep our fallbrookhealth.org and our Fallbrook email addresses would all eventually point to this new one. But we're working on it. We have till what, 2030, I think is the actual deadline
I think they changed.
when
it
everybody
definitely.
has to be switched over. There are still groups within ACHD that are working to not require hospital districts because of some other rules around healthcare. They wanted to try to have some different options. We're not really part of that argument because it doesn't affect.
I was gonna ask and will ask then, are some ACHD health districts, do they have the .gov or
I haven't seen anybody be .gov yet.
No, but on the list of registries, a lot of the health districts show up now as potentials. They also line themselves up with us. So you can see who's in there waiting in the
Yeah.
queue. So you see their names, but they don't have it yet.
You see several other special districts. In fact, I think North County Fire just went over to .ca.gov.
We changed it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We changed it, I think, 2023 somewhere.
Yeah, when it first kind of became a
We didn't-
major.
Yeah, it wasn't a requirement. We just did it because we were at the CSDA meeting and they told us to do it, so we did it.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
I was there too.
yeah, we came back and brought a lot of that information. And then we applied, we kind of let it sit for a while and then,
We got rejected on the first one.
oh, that's right, we got
Yeah,
rejected.
we
on
got
the first one.
rejected on that first one. They told us to go through a different agency. So that's where we started going down the maze of where do we end up? So. We said wrong agency.
Thanks for that.
So once the sidewalks are done and the truncated domes, the yellow dots, I like using the technical term now that I know what it stands for. Once those truncated domes are installed, then SiteLogic can sign off on their final inspection. Then Encinitas Design Group can start moving forward with the redesign of their electrical panels. And the demonstration kitchen can get on track. So nothing is holding up the education building design stuff, but we're just now going to start looking for a contractor for that. And I think that's all of our facility news.
Like that.
I think we did it. We did it in 19 minutes.
So, yeah, we can, I will just announce that we will have, North County Fire is bringing their new ambulance by today, so we will do a quick photo op in front of the ambulance today before we start the meeting.
Oh, super. That's great.
I think this is now the 4th.
Is it?
Wow.
I think the 4th.
You're probably right. Yeah.
I don't know why I'm looking at you guys.
When I got hired, it was already here.
Yeah. The first one, Kevin Marr and I did probably in 21. No, 22, because they were delayed from COVID getting
Yeah.
equipment. So I think the first one came in 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around there.
Yeah.
It's like-
So 22, 23, 24, 25.
5? Yeah, so. Good. Yeah. So, not that that was an
I've
agenda.
forgotten, how much do we pay of that?
We, last fiscal year and this fiscal year, we moved from paying a half share to a budgeted $200,000 per year commitment.
Mhm.
Because the other amount kept fluctuating so much, that was difficult for
budget.
us. So this way, it's just, they know what they can budget, from support from the district for that.
And what do those generally cost?
Ambulances,
Mhm.
it just depends. It takes a long time to assemble and prices keep increasing
Mhm.
every time they delay.
Yeah.
But,
And it depends on whether or not they're doing a refurbishment
yeah,
or buying a whole brand new one. And so far, they've been able to do some refurbishments. I think last year might have been the very first brand new one.
brand new one.
Yeah.
So the others we have participated in refurbishing.
We have a good person, a good fleet manager. So we're like, we're gonna put him to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, good. And they do.
They do. I know. They do.
Yeah.
I like,
They
I
can
saw that
still-
he was coming over and I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, hi.
They're like, oh, you're back.
All right, thanks everybody for doing great jobs.
Anything for next month that you want more information on or communication that we should?
What do you think will occur between now and next meeting?
Regarding
Facilities.
these projects.
Yeah.
I believe I'll have the estimates for the ADA ramps. I'm hoping to have at least 2 estimates for building B's room 3 and 6 conversion.
So the facilities committee, in fact, will have a
Action
role.
items.
Yeah,
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. good.
I don't anticipate we'll have any decision-making for the SKIO lot line. I think that will end up going to
August.
the board. That might work out on our behalf.
Yeah, right. Yeah, every month. It goes on. There's more expense.
And or perhaps more opportunities will present themselves.
Oh, good. All right, well, we're adjourned again.